Hello, my dear. Rhonda Constant, your favorite hometown medium, physical energy healer, oracle card advisor, paranormal investigator, voice for your loved ones. I'm going to explain real. I don't think I've done one for you before. I don't know. I'm going to explain real quick, kind of how this works. I see, hear, feel, sense, know. They talk to me, but they also show me pictures, and I call it spiritual charades. I try to describe the picture the best I can. They never waste a message. There is always a reason for whatever they show or say. So if it doesn't make any sense now, keep it in mind. You'll either see it later, remember it later, or somebody else will validate it for you later and go, I know what he's talking about. He's and this is not an exact science. We communicate the best way we can. So sometimes you'll have to stretch it outside the box a little bit. It's his ball game. I let them say or do whatever they want within reason. So I can't twist their arm. And I hope you guys are doing awesome up there. I mean, I haven't really seen anything on your page lately, but I did see the thing about the kids. For some reason, that thing popped up, but I haven't really seen anything that you've been doing. So hope you're doing good up there. No more kids here. Well, my 20-year-old grandson lives here, but other than that, no more kids. Yay! This is my job. So now I got these guys hovering around making noise instead of the ones down on the floor crawling around making noise. I like it. So, okay, hang on. And I will say that I was doing a reading the other day and he pushed through and I go, it's not your turn yet. You have to wait a minute. I was right in the middle of doing somebody else. He was wanting through. He was wanting through. And they usually, I keep him in line. I usually don't let him do that. Okay, so he's coming in looking the same as he did the other day. That's how I knew it was him. He looks like Paul Bunyan. Oh, I can't remember his first name. Hang on. It's David. So it's not Paul. So he looks like Paul Bunyan. He's got the black and red checkered plaid shirt. He's got the suspenders. He's got an axe. He says he's big and tough. He's being very, not sarcastic, but comical about it. I'm big and tough, like Paul Bunyan. But he keeps showing me like shavings of wood, like if you were whittling something, and the little shavings that would come off, little splintery pieces, kind of. It's not chunks of wood. It's like shavings of wood. So I don't know if somebody has maybe done some wood carving lately, or just keep that in mind. They don't always explain. Sometimes they'll just show me something. Sometimes they'll just say one word. So they don't always explain everything. So whatever that is for you, and he just keeps showing me a small pile of wood shavings. So also watch out for wood shavings. Like you could find a little splinter of wood like on the dash of your vehicle. I find things in my vehicle, windows up, doors locked, and I had a drink in the cup holder, and I looked down there, and there was this little feather in there. Of course, most people know feathers, butterflies, cardinals, coins, things like that. Those are the common things that everybody knows. Those are signs, but I ask them for unique signs. So watch for splinters of wood or wood shavings. Could be on your kitchen counter, could be in your vehicle. Even if you're watching a show and you see somebody whittling, or you see a little pile of wood shavings, maybe you're doing projects, maybe you're doing some crafts, and that's what he's trying to signify with it. But anyway, know when you see this, even if it's in a picture, in a movie, doesn't matter. It's a sign from him. Whenever you get a sign from him, or you even think something is a sign from him, validate him, acknowledge him, tell him you love him, and ask him to bring you more. It always encourages them when they go, they know that's me. They believe it. I'll do more now because I finally got that one through. Even though, I guess maybe before I was doing this, I was asking for my sign 10 times. I went to the cemetery and 10 times a white butterfly came and circled me. And I'm standing there yelling, "Where's my damn sign?" 10 times. So something repeatedly happens, like this white butterfly circling me. And finally one day I went, it's been there all the time. Just didn't realize that was a sign from mine. So that's a very unique sign, is the wood shavings. He says, I couldn't ask for a better big sister. I don't know if you're older than him or if he was older, but even if he was older, he's looking up to you. He kind of felt like you always had your shit together more than him. He said he always admired you. He's making me want to cry. He says he cannot thank you enough for the fight you've been through to get this far for him. I'm sure he's talking about the kids. He's like being very, very somber, very, like I said, I felt like I wanted to cry because he's just so thankful because you had the free will choice to say no and you didn't. he said, he says, who else has got, say it again, hang on. Who else has got the balls to put up with too many me's? He said, you knew how to handle me. You know how to handle them. There's at least one of them that acts just like him. And he says, but it really doesn't ruffle your feathers because you were used to handling him. He says, you've got more love in your heart than most people he knows. And the money will come. The money will come. Because you deserve it. So now he's taking it's like a big old work boot, like the lace up kind. This may not make any difference, whether it's a lace up or whatever kind of work boot. And he's taking it and he's dropping it. And then he kind of pushes it across the floor. It's empty. It's not on his foot. And he's kind of pushing it across the floor. I'm trying to get him to see. What are you going to show me? He's pushing it away from the kids. See what he's going to do. Hang on. Let me pause this and see what I can get out of this. He's doing more. Okay, so I don't know if one of the kids is thinking about going into the same type of field, type of work he did. He's pushing the boot away from him. Or maybe they're just, so this is work related. So I don't know if he's talking about the exact field, the exact thing that he did, or just the manual labor part of it. He's hoping better for them. Don't we all do that for our kids? So listen for the sound if you take a boot, big work boot, and you drop it. It probably won't be as loud as if you actually took a physical one here and did that, because it usually comes in quieter, and it's usually not when you're in the same room. So let's say you're sitting in the living room just kind of daydreaming at the TV and you hear this thunk. And I've been hearing them all over my house lately, and they're not supposed to be here unless they tell me they're here. They're not allowed. If you hear this little dull thud, like in the kitchen, that sounds maybe like a boot dropping, just maybe, usually not as loud, know that that's him. He says he'd just be popping in to say, hey, but he wants you to know that he's popping in to say, hey. Also, he's holding up a pine needle, like off a pine tree. So watch to be finding pine needles. Probably going to find it like when you stick your foot in a shoe or something. Something's going to stick you. It's like, of course, feathers are big for me. They're big. I mean, it's a big deal for everybody. But I walked through my dining room one time a whole bunch of times, and then all of a sudden I sat down and there was a feather stuck in my slipper. Where did that come from? I hadn't been anywhere except in my dining room and living room. He says, you're like me, that we would take in every stray cat, stray child, stray whatever, and want to make them, oh, he's going to make me cry, want to make them feel better, want to take away their pain, want them to help them have a better life, and give them big hugs. I've been pretty much raising my 20-year-old grandson. He lives with us. One of his friends who kind of got ditched by his parents went out. A girl and I went together and got him a prepaid cell phone and some couple of months worth of minutes so he can go get a job. He doesn't have a number for them to call him, so he can get a job. And he's a senior. So we take, you must be like me. We take in the strays. We want to make them feel better. We don't want to see them hurt. And he's overly stressing this about you. He says you take in all the kittens off the road too. You have cats. He's Again, he says he couldn't be any more thankful because he knew you wanted him in the beginning and they wouldn't let you, and you had to wait till the time was right. And now the time is right and they're ready. They're going to be more grateful, and that's what he's saying. They're going to be more grateful and appreciate you more now. I don't remember how long he's been gone, but because of the shit that they had to go through in between then and now, they appreciate your love and your home and your stuff more, even though I think they're teenagers, but they appreciate it more because of what they had to go through. And doesn't that work a lot of ways in a lot of things in our life? So he says they're home and he's at peace with it. He's also talking about coming up and whispering in your ear. So now I stink at names and nicknames, but he's trying to say something like sis, sissy. Maybe he's just trying to say sister, but I feel more like it's a nickname that's not like a sister. So whatever, but it seems like it starts with an S. He's trying to whisper it in your ear. You may not hear the word. You may just hear some pss, 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 or you might hear some muttering. Usually it should just be in one ear. He's showing me my right ear right now, but it doesn't have to be just the right ear. One ear. He's trying to whisper. He's trying to talk. It could come out as a whisper, a muttering, a mumbling. When my Bob gets real close, his energy, because we're all energy once we leave here. We don't have this heavy body. We're just energy. So his energy will make my ear turn bright red when he gets close enough. One time the whole side of my face was burning and I thought, oh my God, I'm getting the virus. And I took the thermometer and I clicked it here, perfectly normal. Clicked it here and it was hotter than it. The alarm went off. So you could get really warm, like, I don't think most people get it. Everybody feels energy different. So I don't know how to explain to you how you will receive it, accept it. You could feel like a little breeze. You could, so know when you hear that, he says you already have heard it. You may not have known what it was. Again, validate him, acknowledge him. Let him know that you know that's him. And give him permission to do that or bring you signs if you want them. That's your free will choice. If it scares you or if you don't want it, tell him hell no. They're supposed to abide by your wishes. And normally mine do, but lately there's been somebody popping in around my house, but they're not. But my rule is you can't come in unless you present yourself to me. So they don't always mind, but usually they do. And I'm finding things in weird places too. But I'm old and forgetful, so who knows when I move some. Hell, maybe I put it there. I don't know. He's going like this. He wants you to know that he is resting in peace. But he's not actually sleeping. That's not the way it works. You don't actually go to sleep somewhere. You go off and you learn lessons and you okay, I'll tell her. When we leave and we leave this big old heavy body here, this is what I call our vehicle. This is our car on earth. Our spirit, our soul is inside of it. And this is what our spirit and soul runs around here and learns our lessons and lives our life. When we don't need it anymore, and we go up there and I call it peeled like an onion. They cleanse us. They pull off all the heavy energy, the negative, heavy vibes and stuff out of our energy that we had here. And we're cleansed and we're bright and we're light. And and he says he's beautiful. He's giggling. And I stand behind me. I really need to get a better camera because even when we go ghost hunting, we can see orbs or energy or whatever, but this camera just doesn't seem to be good enough to pick him. First he was over here. Never have had anybody say that they could see the energy or an orb or waves of energy in the spot they're at. I don't know. Anyway, he said, okay, he's done. He just wanted to get that across. He said, I'll be back. He pointed his finger at you. I'll be back. Once you get this shit down, I think he's talking about, he says signs. Once you start recognizing the signs and stuff, I'll be back with more. And don't think I'm ever going to leave you alone. Kind of said it, kind of cocking his head or flopping his head around. Don't think I'm ever going to leave you alone. Because what fun would that be? I always picked on you when we were little. Don't think it's going to stop now. He's just kind of walking around behind me, almost like he's trying to think, what am I going to do to her? What am I going to do? Am I going to pull a piece of her hair? Am I going to tweak her ear? He's going through all these little things in his head that he hasn't quite decided yet. make it feel like a bug's crawling across the back of your neck and there's nothing there. He's scheming. He's scheming like a brother would. Again, he says, I want you to know that I am in peace. I'm in more peace now that the kids are with you, but I was already in peace, but it's better even now that they're safe. And I love you. I probably didn't tell you that enough. I love you. And I appreciate you being my big sister. Like I said, doesn't mean you have to be older. Appreciate you being my big sister this go around in this lifetime. I believe in multiple lifetimes, kind of. I still have a hard time wrapping my head around it, but yes, he says, in this go around in this lifetime. And it all happened like it was supposed to. Oh, with that, he's leaving. Okay, my dear. Um, I hope he gave a little bit of validation, or maybe when you feel or hear or see these signs or whatever, then you'll realize I always ask him to give a couple things of validation so that you know for sure I'm talking to him. That I can't talk any better now than I did when you used to come to my house. And I appreciate more than you know the way you treated all of us when you were doing the daycare thing. You treated all of us decently more than most of the other people that came and inspected us and all the other stuff. And you know, might let us slide a little oops here and there, but you treated us decent with respect instead of like you're gonna, like, you know, a couple of the bitches I'm talking about, like we just want to come in and shut you down. You were like our friend, and you were there to help us and help us do whatever we needed to do to make it right. So I want you to know how much I appreciated that, because I was going through hell with the other two inspectors, if I want to call them that. And I'm not talking about the food people. The witch from hell, yes, she was. It's a wonder it's a wonder I got to keep my license after I screamed at a few times. I just wanted to giggle with you. Okay. Let me know if there's something you didn't understand or something you need later, or once you get these signs down and stuff. Watch for the wood shavings, he says. I can hear him. Wood shavings. I'm really curious about that. I'm always curious when they come up with a unique sign, which is what I ask them for, to see how that plays out. Much love to you. See you later. Rhonda Constant, your favorite hometown medium, physical energy healer, oracle card advisor, paranormal investigator, voice for your loved ones. Later.